Peace. Presently, he is the Vice President of the Toastmasters Club, Kings Landing. Let's welcome him on stage with a big round of applause, people.
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate that warm applause, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Mental health is a major thing. We've heard that from our police officers when they were here. It's a major problem in the community. Now, I worked 30 years in community mental health, and I had often needed to work alongside the police officers. They do a marvellous job. They work with mental health professionals hand in hand. It's a team effort. And don't have doubt about a female officer. They are very, very strong. And they are real great allies. In fact, I saw them do some work that men could not do. Their communication skills are a little bit better than ours. Okay, hands up those who may have felt anxious at any time. Just a quick show of hands. I think almost all of us have at some time. Now, who amongst you thinks anxiety is a bad thing? Just one? Oh, two. We've got two. Actually, anxiety is not bad. It's actually healthy for us. Have you stopped to think, what makes your heart beat? It's a nervous system. That's part of the anxiety. It's not anxiety itself that causes you problems. It's how you react to it when you do feel anxious. And a major part of that is people then draw within themselves and become very depressed, where they think the world is against them, they fear the world, and they won't go out. That's the worst thing you can do. You need to put your hand up and say, I need help. I need help. Definitely need help. Now, as you heard, police can actually be helpful. But your local parish priest can be a very good source of help. Your local doctor, friends. Everyone has family and friends. And when I walked into this room, I felt the strength of family, because each and every one of you just showed that you as a community are actually a family, not just a group of people belonging to the same organisation. You are family, and I felt very welcome. Now, how do you deal with anxiety? Has anyone any ideas? Has anyone tried to deal with anxiety? Doesn't work that way. One of the simplest things to do, one of the first mistakes in anxiety, people stop breathing and they start worrying about it, and they think, the more they think about it, the more anxious they become. You need to stop those thoughts, stop the negative thoughts that I'm terrible, people will see that I'm anxious. Anxiety is actually a driver. It can help you. Now, being prepared for this, I could have been anxious, a group of strangers, only one person that I know. How do you think I coped with that? I was not anxious. I planned for it. I knew what I need to say, and I planned how I would say it. And I was aware of the sort of people I'd be talking to. Because Joyson's I consider him now a very good friend. We've been known each other for a couple of years now, I think. A couple of years? Yeah. So it's really important I sat down and I started planning, what will I say, what can I say within 10 minutes? And I worked out those steps, and one of those was about anxiety. Now, I'd like you to picture a duck on a pond. We did have some visuals, but the visuals are not working. But picture a duck on a pond. When you see the duck on a pond, it's moving across that pond very gently, barely a ripple in the water. Isn't that calm and serene? It's a beautiful sight. What you don't see when you look under the water is this little thing, legs are paddling like a heck to make it look calm. So even a person who appears confident, actually their heart might be pounding. And that's part of the trick. So you need to slow down your breathing rate. Now that's one trick that I think everyone needs to work on. It's actually counting. You can slow down your breathing rate by counting the times you breathe, or each breath. As you're breathing in, you count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you breathe out again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That slows down your heart rate. The irony is it does slow down your heart rate. When that happens, you become physically relaxed. Your body becomes relaxed. And the mind starts becoming relaxed. You no longer feel it. You're in control of your body. It's a very simple little strategy. Now I have a list of relaxation, or music that I call it, that's really good in the background. Now, all of us here would have music that calms them down. Am I right? Everyone has very beautiful music. It doesn't matter whether it's vocal, whether it's instrumental, whether it's European, whether it's Indian, it doesn't matter. It's whatever causes you to feel relaxed. You play that in the background while you're doing that breathing technique. And you'll be surprised at how quickly you wake up and you feel refreshed, fully refreshed. That's when you can take on the world. It also lifts your mood. When you feel you're under control, your depression lifts as well. There are services to ring. Everyone's heard of Lifeline. Lifeline is a good service. Your local doctor, hopefully, is also very well tuned. He or she can actually refer you to treatment, can maybe prescribe some medication. To me, medication is the last resort. The second last resort. Because the worst one is the last resort, which is hospital. We don't want you in hospital. I can remember a case where a young girl was referred to me for depression by her doctor. I was on what they call intake duty. This young lady came in, around 20. She arrived with her mother. The relationship, very strong. I could tell that they got on well. But there was something she couldn't say. And I asked to speak to her alone. And asked for the mother to lead. And mum did lead. Then I spoke to the girl. She was actively considering ending her life. I just sensed there was more sense and intuition than pure knowledge, because it was intuitive. She then agreed to take on some treatment. We had counselling between us, and within, I think it was 8 weeks, she was fine. Everything, there was something that caused it all, but she'd been living with her for years and her mother didn't know about it. So, by talking it out, the doctor was clever in picking it up, referred to the centre I was working in, and I just happened to sense, you can tell when you look at a person's face. How often have you looked at a friend or a family member and said, "Are you okay?" And they go, "Oh yeah, I'm okay," but they brush you off. You need to actually be careful. Don't pressure, but you do need to be able to say, "Look, you don't seem yourself. I'm here for you. If you want to talk to me." And the irony is I've had quite a few people lately through COVID ringing me and spending anything up to an hour on the phone, just needing to talk about what's distressing them. And by doing that, their depression lifts. They become more functional. I'm not a genius. I'm just a person, but I am trained to do that, and it really helps. I need help myself, and I will choose the time that I know the person that I need. I'll talk to them, and by talking with them and say, "I'm struggling a bit at the moment. I just need to ventilate." Talk out. So never hold it in. You need to find someone you trust that you know will help you. Even just talking is that's right. No, sorry. I should warn you, I have a terrible sense of humour as well. But listening to the police officers, all of the cases they work on, how they can stand here and speak to you so confidently, they're well trained. When I first started, the police were not trained anywhere near as well as they are today. And there were times when I thought, yeah, I'd rather not have the police around because they might harm the individual. Now, they're wonderful. As soon as I see them, we usually work together. We work hand in hand with mental health workers. They are wonderful. Lifeline is a common service. There are plenty of services like that around. As I said, through your local church, they're the wonderful people. There's always staff within the church. It doesn't have to be the local priest. If it was only the priest, that poor person would be overloaded and he'd probably need help. But no, he has a group around him that are wonderful people. You've heard of some of the staff already. And they are the wonderful people who can help. Look to your friends, look to your family. So does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask me? I'm more than happy to deal with that, rather than talking at you. Any questions? Cool. Have I helped everyone? It seems that I may have. So remember, you should use the relaxation music. Find some music that suits you. I'll give Joyce a number of particular CDs that I use, and I've used with patients. And they work. They work beautifully. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.